Hello, I'm Bruce Lane. Thanks for tuning into this web broadcast for GTi Energy. I'd like to spend a few brief moments going through our rights issue offer that's out at the moment, and also then just to update you all on some of our recent activities. So our offer under the rights entitlement prospectus is to raise $2.16 million. We're offering shareholders the opportunity to subscribe for one new share for every 5 GTR shares held on the record date. And that record date is the 12th of August, which has just gone. The shares will be issued at a price of 0.4 of a cent, slightly lower than the placement price conducted a few weeks ago. And it'll have a free attaching option with it on a 1-for-3 basis. That's one option for every 3 new shares subscribed. So those options will have a strike price of 1 cent and a term of 4 years. There'll also be an offer for GTRO option holders. That's the listed class GTRO, and we'll provide more information about that in due course. The key dates, as I said before, record date Monday the 12th just gone, the opening date Thursday the 15th, and the closing date, unless it's extended by the directors, would be the 9th of September of 2024. So we'd encourage anybody who's interested in that offer to get a hold of the company or Vested Equities, who are helping us with our shareholder outreach, or to log on to the share registry at Automic, and I'll provide details of those parties all on the final slide of this web broadcast presentation. So our key events for 2024 are really anchored by the drilling that is underway at the moment. We released some results, our very initial results from the first 10 holes about a week ago, and I'll run through those again briefly later in the presentation. Our objective is to update our mineral resource after the conclusion of that program. We hope to do that in Q4 of this year, in advance, if things are going well, of moving to a scoping study or a PEA in North American terms. So the capital raising that we conducted, the placement, which was done a few weeks ago, was conducted to help fund that, as is the rights issue, which is underway at the moment. And I probably forgot to mention that rights issue is underwritten to $1.6 million by CPS Capital. We've also got a permit for drilling at Green Mountain in progress. We hope to have that permit in hand within the next sort of 4 to 6 weeks. That will give us an option to drill at Green Mountain if we think it's the right thing to do at the time. We're also looking very closely at our Utah projects and how we might find a way to move those forward, and that may involve some form of partnering, and we'll keep everyone updated on that if anything comes to hand. So just to reflect on our resources, total resources at the moment under JORC of 7.37 million pounds at our Wyoming projects, and of that 5.71 million pounds at Low Herma. And that really is our focus at the moment, is to try and increase the size of that Low Herma resource and to bring as much of that inferred resource into indicators as we can with this program. We've got a further exploration target on top of that of an additional up to almost 20 million pounds at the top end, or at the bottom end around 12 million pounds if we were able to bring those exploration target pounds into resource. So our Low Herma drill program is targeted at extending the mineralisation along trend, as shown in this chart, both at the northwest of the project and over on the east of the project. There are now 880 drill holes in this project, of which 26 from last year were conducted by GTi as part of our verification drill program. We are also looking to extend the mineralisation at depth, both in the lower Wasatch Formation, which is that formation you see on top, and also down a bit deeper in the Fort Union Formation down here. Both these formations are very productive in Wyoming, with Cameco mining out of that lower Wasatch and Fort Union Formation around about 10 miles or 14 kilometres to our east. So the drill plan is for 76 mud rotary holes, of which 5 will have been earmarked to be constructed for groundwater monitoring. We'll also get some metallurgical samples there so we can do some bottle roll tests and check the leachability. And as I said before, we're targeting a resource update and then hopefully a scoping study off the back of that. Results so far have been very encouraging. Out of the 10 holes that we reported around about a week and a half ago, 8 of them hit mineralisation, and a couple of them showed some very good grade thickness results with very good thicknesses of 14.5 feet and 16.5 feet, and grades that around that 640 to 540 ppm mark, which are very much production grades with those kinds of thicknesses in Wyoming. I thought it was worth just touching on who is in production or about to get back into production in Wyoming. So we've got GTi Energy down at Lost Creek producing now. We hope to see UEC in production soon, in August hopefully, maybe a little later, I'm not sure. They haven't seen too much in the last few weeks. We've got Energy Fuels saying they're looking at production in 25. And of course Peninsula, who are set to get back into production before the end of this year. So the producers in Wyoming, and particularly the ISR producers, are responding to what is now a long-term contract price of around the $80 to $82 mark as reported by UxC. So I also thought it was worth looking at some neighbouring projects that are in development or slated to be in development. The most, I guess, pertinent and current one is the Shirley Basin project for GTi Energies down in the Great Divide Basin, which is around 50 or 60 miles, but as a crow flies from where we are at Lohuma. It's an £8.8 million project, and as you can see here, with an NPV of 120 million bucks and an 83 or close to 84% IRR, very attractive economics. The Gas Hills project, owned by Encore, is to the north of and northwest of Lohuma. It's probably 50 or 60 miles away in the Gas Hills. Also an £8-ish million project, also with very attractive economics, albeit that study is slightly older. These projects are very attractive, and the capex hurdle, as you can see, is relatively low. What we're trying to do is push Lohuma more towards that scale of project, and that's our ambition. The other thing I thought was worth touching on briefly was looking at some of our listed peer companies. You can see Premier there recently bought £23 million into resource for a conventional project in New Mexico. That gives them a valuation per pound of around $3 Canadian. And looking at GTi, our valuation is less than a Canadian dollar a pound for what is an ISR resource right in the middle of the productive area in Wyoming. So we think on that basis, relatively, GTi looks like pretty good value. And I think if you reflect on also at some of our peer companies there who have reasonably healthy valuations and no compliant resources thus far, we think GTi is modestly valued. So just to finish off, as I said, vested equities and Automic are probably the two best places to go for more information about our rights entitlement issue. But also feel free to contact the company on info@gtienergy.au, and we will do our best to get back to you as soon as possible. And thank you very much for your time, and we hope to be back in touch soon.